And we're back again from the break. Back again for part 2 of this episode. Welcome back to The Power Move. I am John Gafford, of course, with me as always again, Colt't Amidan and Chris Connell, Esquire. Chris!
How are you?
Man.
Still looking for that power move.
Canadian accent came out on that one.
I know it did.
I can drop
Still
it if
looking,
you like.
Yep.
Can you?
Still looking for that power move. No, so if you've got something that we went with the fan for a while, but it didn't work out.
It's got its place.
It had its place.
It's not,
like
it could be
everything in
conjunctive.
life.
It's not. It's and or like a asinese. Like an asinine clause. It can be and or.
It did. It had its place, and I think now we're at a point where, we're in the witching hour. Stu's gone. I'm switching the board, so it should. Who knows what's going to happen.
This is where it gets dark.
It's where it gets a little dicey.
I haven't
real
ate
dark.
yet, so this is where it starts getting real good.
It's going to get a little bit dicey because I got way too many things that I'm supposed to control. But
Let's talk about cancel culture.
let's talk about that as we go, as we do that. But I did want to talk about this. Man, I get such an abundance of bad mail to my house. Mm-hmm. And when I mean bad mail, and I mean like Colt't has bad mails next to him. I mean, what I'm talking about is actual pieces of mail that people have sent me that are just terrible. I mean, they don't make any sense. They don't do anything. If you are a realtor or a solar person or anybody that's sending mail to somebody's house, you might want to listen to this next part because it is going to be important. First of all, you got to understand what I mean by bad mail. I get stuff all the time that's just basically completely self-serving.
Totally.
Look at this house I sold. Here's pictures of it. This is what it sold for. That's self-serving. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't tell me why I would want to deal with you. It doesn't do anything else. Now, granted, let me back up. There's 2 types of mail. If you have a farm, which is a group of people that you consistently send to, including past clients, I don't mind the just solds.
Yeah.
I don't mind that because you're sending out a reminding them you're alive.
Reminder, yeah. Here.
It's a great.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a great reminder to them that you know what you're doing and you're
branding.
still doing it. That's branding, exactly. But if you're sending out to random people that don't know you and you're just carpet bombing different neighborhoods, you got a problem with your marketing.
And that's marketing.
That's marketing. Like one of my agents came to me today and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about sending out this flyer with all like pictures of my happy clients with their smiley faces and like their key. Like I just bought my house. I'm thinking about sending that out to everybody, and I just can't come up with a catchphrase." And I'm like, "Me neither, because it's terrible."
Because I wouldn't do it. Yeah.
No, it's not.
If you send me a mailer that has all these people holding up a key, I'd just be like, "That's
it a key store? Yeah. Is that
or
it?
Is that like that's all your clients?
Bragging?
Is that it? Yeah. So this is what I told her. I said, "Look, I go, you have a couple of advantages here. Because number one, because Simply Vegas is vertically integrated, we own $175,000 digital printing press. Like we have a monster printing department here, and we don't need minimums. So it's not like one of those things where you have to print off 1,000 flyers or something." So I said, if you're sending this, she goes, "Well, my farm is to Inspirata and to Mountain's Edge and to over here and to over here and over there." I go, if you're just sending one blanket message to all of those people, you're going to lose them. Yeah. You need to mail something hyper specific and hyper targeted to them so they feel like you're talking to them. Yeah. It's not just a circular that got thrown in the mail. I said, the first thing you need to do is you need to go out and reserve URLs. Here's step number 1, kids. Reserve URLs for every neighborhood of which you are sending mail to. Yeah. Because 2 reasons. Number 1, it becomes hyper specific. If I send something in my neighborhood, the URL it sends to is, Roma Hills Specialist. My partner, Gavin Ernstone, became literally a multimillionaire selling high-end homes because he went out and reserved every URL he could. There's a neighborhood called the Ridges here in Las Vegas, and he went out and reserved everything you could. The Ridges Expert, the Ridges Specialist, the Ridges everything, and just had every URL that had to do with that area. That's what all of it was. And every piece that he sent out was linked back to that. Now, if you live in, let's call it Chrisville, all right, that's the neighborhood you live in, and you get—
Sounds like the Lorax or something.
It does. But you get a piece of mail that says, "I am the Chrisville Realtor, and if you want to learn more about all of the properties in our neighborhood, current market values, what's going on, go to chrisvilleagent.com." That
guy gives a shit about where I live?
Yeah. Does that make more sense to you than it does to just send some blanket message of go to Las Vegas home search?
Of course. It's just so much more. It's not spam at that point.
Yeah.
I know it's not spam.
It's targeted.
Yeah, I appreciate Target. I do. I'm one of those people that I'll be at Southern Highlands, you know, picking up something at Smith's. I'll be down there for some reason. And there'll be like a real estate agent. It's like, you know, saying the Southern Highlands guy. Now, I didn't notice it or think about it until kind of the next time I go, oh yeah, that's the guy who's there for Southern Highlands.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm obviously not going to use them because, you know, whatever. But
yeah.
I'm saying I remembered them.
Yeah.
But I don't have any reason to remember a random realtor.
No. And here's the secret. You can be the agent for more than one area.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can be the Southern Highland expert.
Yeah,
you can be the Bridges expert.
As a shopper at Smith's with my grocery cart or whatever, I just remember that guy. So that part of branding were for me.
Yeah. Speaking specifically, because what I told her was, I said, look, think of it like this. Think of it like pellets in a shotgun shell and bullets on the end of a rifle shell. The rifle shell costs the same as the pellets here. You're spraying you're scattering this shotgun at this huge masses of people hoping to hit something. Whereas if you use a surgical approach,
take down an elephant.
You could take down an elephant if you're smart about what you're doing and getting there. So, you know, I think that's part one is brand it particularly. But what's also super important about that is, you know, I'll never forget this story. A million years ago, you know, there was a book called The Real Estate Book. It was like super thick. It was like an inch thick. And every realtor in Las Vegas advertised in the real estate book. It's something you did. Like everybody had an ad in it.
Like a yellow pages.
It was like the yellow pages of real estate, essentially. And when I first moved here, one of the agents in my office had 4 pages in there, like 4 pages. And I asked him one day, I said, dude, what's your return on investment for that?
Right.
And he's like, I don't know.
Just do it.
It's just part of all of our marketing. Yeah. It's just part of what you do. If you don't have a way that you can track everything that you do, I mean, systematically. For example, like you go back to those mailers, if you have a different URL on every single card that you send out to a neighborhood, like I send this one, and this one says Chrisville agent, this one says the Chrisville specialist. Well, now if I'm sending different tones, I can create landing pages on my site that for each one of those URLs, direct those URLs. And now I can see, because nobody's going to call you before they're going to go look you up.
They're going straight.
They're going to go to your website before. And guess what's made another comeback, kids? Guess who has been the biggest
Google
benefit?
Analytics.
No, Google Analytics, not Google Analytics. The biggest winner of the COVID era, the QR code.
Oh yeah. That's
dude,
the
yeah,
there's
QR
a lot
code
of
made
great
a
things.
striking comeback.
Dude, the QR code was dead. The QR code was just dead on the water, and now it's everywhere because of restaurant menus. Nobody wants to hand you a menu anymore. They want to use QR code, which quite honestly
makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and I kind of prefer it.
Like, you know, it's funny because I put one on my mailers, and you know, if I'd have done that 2 years ago, 0 hits. Like no one would have known how to do it. I bet I'm probably running about 25% are hitting the QR code,
and you can actually. But here's the thing: again, now you can actually track those results because you can see where they're going,
and then you can spend more money in what you know is working for you.
I get these mailers.
Not knowing the rate of return is crazy.
I get these mailers. I get these mailers in my house, and all it's on them is the same web address as every, you know, Las Vegas home search with here's my cell phone number. I mean, there's no way to track any of that where it comes from. Right. It's so bad. So if you're going to create mail, number one, you've got to personalize the pieces. They have to be personalized to whatever neighborhood you're sending them to, specialize them for that neighborhood. So you're talking directly to an audience.
Not to be a pitch man for your brokerage, John, but your agents can come here and you just give them the keys to the kingdom for printing.
Oh yeah, we do. And we do it at cost. And we do it at cost.
That to everybody, and it's amazing how many people don't comprehend that. Like,
I mean,
that is the most. What I was sending out for $2,000, I'm doing for non.
Well, and the no minimums is the key. Most printers are going to make you spend X amount of dollars to get it done.
Oh yeah. So what are these people spending on average? Let's say in mailing, because I bet you there's a lot of people that don't realize how accessible it is. Right? They haven't figured out their marketing budget. They just go, I'm a realtor. I'm going to do all these things that don't cost any money, and I'm going to rely on my friends and family who end up going with like some lady down the street or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. Like you think you got all these people in your network that are going to use you, and they're not. So you have to go out and figure it out.
Yeah.
What would you say the average cost to farm a neighborhood is in Las Vegas that consists of 250 houses?
Well, I think the first thing you have to understand is you've got to make a commitment to sending it at least 7 times. Don't expect to send anything once and get anything out of it. You've got to, I mean, you got to be married to it. So whatever the cost is, you just get married. Now our printing cost for that, you know, I don't know if people are going to listen to this and it does fluctuate, is because we do it at cost, because it's not a profit center for us. It's astronomically lower than everybody else.
Right.
The quality of what you can get, have it handled, have it mailed out is far less than what everybody else pays. But again, the big advantage is there's no minimums.
Yep.
There's no you're not sitting on 500 dead flyers.
No,
because
I said mine are the weirdest numbers because I try to be specific on certain things like 673 and 1,294. And that's great. The biggest thing on it's the cost of postage. Remember how great it was when it was like 17 cents? And
that's kind of what I mean. So somebody that's listening to this, if you got a realtor who's listening to this, driving down the street, what does it cost? What is it?
50 cents a postage.
50 cents a card.
I'll put it this way. With us, call it 30 cents on the dollar to where they can get it done for everywhere else.
Okay. I'm just like,
So I send out a letter that's about 1,900 pieces, and it costs me about 900 and something for that. But you can, it can fluctuate, right? Like if you go a postcard that gets postcard stamps, or you'd use a lighter paper or whatever. But yeah, by far, that's my selling point. People come to me, why should I come to Simply Vegas? I don't give a shit. Why? I don't make money. If you want to do a good job, you want to come. Plus, they have the printing press, and people just look at me crazy, like I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard of a lot of other people do that. They have their kind of programs.
There's a lot of things we do here that nobody else does.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I would always kind of, because I sit there and I think to myself, I have my own business.
What's funny? Yeah, well, what's funny about that, and I'm gonna say something to this. The biggest, if you want to get under, if you're out there and you're a competitor of mine and you want to get under my skin, this is what you do.
Start a printing press.
No, you copy me and don't give me credit. It drives me insane when people do that. And this week, and I'll show you that I'm a man of my word, if you will, or a man of character, if you will. So this week I saw another broker around town that did something that I liked. I said, man, that's really good. And it was simple. It wasn't. He didn't reinvent the wheel. Right. Essentially, he just was taking his top 20 agents of the month out to dinner. And I said, man, that's really nice. We do a top 25, been doing it for years here. Me and Gavin were on a trip, and I said, dude, we should take our agents out for a top 25. So this is when we go on. So we do with the news out of the studio. Once a week, we'll do the news for our agents and kind of bring them up to speed, because we don't do office meetings, because I find them to be an incredible waste of time. And we said, look, here's the deal. I saw Craig Tan do something. I said, he's one of our competitors here in Las Vegas. I saw him do this. I liked it. I'm giving full credit to Craig where credit is due. I'm copying your idea, so we're going to do this too.
Because it's a good idea. You don't own it, but it's good to get credit for it.
But at the same time, I can give him credit for it because I'm not scared of him.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's enough business.
I love that attitude. I love that attitude when I tell people, there's a lot of injury attorneys out there that are obviously my competition, but I don't know. I don't know that guy who called, this guy was going to call me anyway.
Well,
my competition is me.
Well, the funny thing about it is, though, is I also think that when you rip somebody off, if you're the market that sees you both operating, they know.
Oh, absolutely.
This person on social media the other day, I think we've talked about it here, which was my buddy Brad Lee's. Actually, that's not true. It's another thing that Brad says when he says, hey, if I told you I give you $1 million right now, would you take it? And everybody's like, yes. And he's like, well, if I told you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you still take it? And everybody's like, no. He's like, so you're telling me the fact that you could just wake up today is worth more than $1 million.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And I saw this girl on like TikTok or whatever it was, literally plagiarize that word for word.
Yeah.
I mean, it was word for word Brad stuff, not giving him credit, just laying it out as though it was her own genius pontification. And she got murdered.
Massacred.
In the comments. Everybody's like, Bradley. Just don't murder.
Yeah.
People know when you rip other people off, just don't do it.
Yeah. If you all of a sudden you have some Socratic, brilliant quote and your last 4 posts were about, what color is a potato? Then all of a sudden you're like, doth should be thou. It's like just put quotations on it.
Yeah. And that's a problem is I think people, you're not reinventing the wheel. It's kind of like music, right? Like you're now using the same type of
3-4 chords, man.
But at least give some sort of, hey, you know what? I like what you're doing. I'm going to make it my own.
Funny story.
Right? Like I'm going to make it
funny story. That song, Danny California.
Yeah.
Was actually Tom Petty's, I think it's Last Dance with Mary Jane. If you actually look at the actual chords, dead serious. And they were like
both of those.
Oh shit. Like it is.
Oh boy.
Not knowing it.
Not knowing it. So Tom Petty was like, yeah, no, keep rocking it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But they gave him props after. They go, hey, we didn't realize this was.
See, all I can think of right now is Vanilla Ice going, no, mine goes ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no, that's a bad, and there's sometimes, but like I said, yeah, it might make you some money real quick, but people are going to see that's not you, right? Like, if I went out and started rocking like board shorts and trying to be that young hip guy, they're going to be like, "Who the hell is this?" Like, that's not cool. Would you buy it?
I saw you in pastels the other night.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
He did wear pastels.
I wear a lot of pastels
to the metal show.
Look at this right here. If I'm
surprised
you can follow us on YouTube, guys, and see what we actually.
You know, it was one of the most fun things I ever did. So when I lived in Tampa a million years ago, one of my friends threw a party called High Society. Right, we would throw it. It was my roommate, and we threw it at our house. And what we would do is, it was called High Society, and everybody came dressed in 1980s racket club attire. Oh, think like Trading Places when they go to the racket club, Muffy and everything, right? You got it. So we went there. We had croquet set up. Sure. You know, it was a couple hundred people, whatever it was.
Newport.
And then we
Slims.
had buses pick us up at a certain time. It was like 10:30, and they took us to a place called the Castle in Ybor City in Tampa, which was the goth bar.
Oh, that's how I feel.
200 people walking in among like dressed in 80s racket club attire with all the vampires. Dude, these people did not know what to do with themselves.
I feel like that was Chris's concert last Thursday.
It was pretty close.
It was pretty close.
Modern cacophony. You know what the Cacophony Society is? The Cacophony Society is in like Portland. It's one of these things that was the inspiration for Fight Club. And Chuck Palahniuk, the guy who wrote Fight Club, was actually in the Cacophony Society. That's where they'd have 200 drunken Santas come like rush through like the mall and like all this kind of crazy shit. And you know, we don't have anything like that in Las Vegas.
You know what? Not yet. Because also now when I lived in Orlando, some other great things. We had Running of the Bulls. There was a club called Matador, right? And they did Running of the Bulls. Did I ever tell you this? Yeah. They did Running of the Bulls, where essentially it was all the guys that went out at Matador. That was a good probably 150 of us when I had this bar. Right. Everybody dressed in the whites and reds, as you would in Paloma. Chris has already done this for real, but we would do this. And then, no, here's the best part. And then they took the bar backs and dressed them up as bulls. And so we just with cowbells, we just go tearing 150 guys dressed like you're running from bulls through the streets of downtown Orlando amongst all the tourists.
That's great.
They don't know there's not real bulls behind you.
So everybody starts running?
They don't know. Like all they see is this wave of guys coming down the street as fast as they can, and people were losing their minds.
Liability issues aside, OSHA violations aside. This just needs to happen.
No, there was that. There was another party called Barbarian, I think it was, where everybody dressed up like Vikings, and you literally would just try to get thrown out of bars.
God, I grew up in a boring city. We had Ogden Trece, which was part of some cartel. But you ran from them.
We had one of those county fairs. They sold muffins.
Oh, the county fair was awesome. That's where I grew up.
4-H chicks. That's cool. 4-H chicks.
Yeah, the county fair was awesome. Got a little,
speaking of the county fair, if we go back to my favorite portion of the show, which is Colt's topics that he likes to try to introduce. Horse medication for COVID.
Has anybody else seen this?
Of course. And now they're actually saying, I've seen posters of places that sell horse medication and vets going, we will not sell you this medication unless you show us a picture of a pony.
I saw
that was really
picture
funny.
of you.
Would it be pretty easy to just download a picture of a pony?
No, because
you
it's
and your pony.
and your pony.
Okay,
I'm
pretty sure I can Photoshop a picture of a horse and a pony.
I got a selfie with Genuine.
Yeah, I don't think the people that are buying that.
See what you did there. Yeah, see what you did there.
I don't think that the people buying that stuff is going to be the best Photoshop people or know how to work a computer. That's just
self-selection.
But did you see the other guy that just got arrested on the east side of Las Vegas for selling pretty much bleach to people, claiming it was a cure? And he was selling for like $800. That just happened like a half hour ago.
Because, of course, the guy on the side of the car has the cure.
Back in my day when people were selling horse medications to people, it was to like linebackers for the Raiders.
Yeah.
It was that Lyle Alzado.
Let's just go say Lyle. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't get what our society, does that make you just sad when you see stuff like that?
I think there's so much information and it's kind of hard to discern. There's just too much information.
Yes, but not to say to take horse medication for COVID.
Here's the thing. It's difficult. John, we talked about this about
it's different Colt.
It's different Colt. No, it's difficult. It's funny how close that is actually.
Are you saying
I was confused.
Colt
I'm like,
or difficult?
A different Colt would be a difficult.
We'll be auditioning different Colts next week. That's next week.
But like when there was a Walter Cronkite or whatever, I think people at least had that thing. Look,
the one guy that was credible. The one guy
this guy says it. The one guy. It's almost time to have that back where everybody just throws a name in the pot. We go, okay, he's close enough. He's close enough. Let's run it down the middle with one person. And everybody else
you can't do that because we had that guy. What was it? Brian. What was his name? John.
Oh no, it was
the NBC guy.
Yeah, Brian. Anyway,
the guy.
He was the last guy that was like that.
Man,
is it sad?
He was the last guy that was like that, and then.
Brian
and then he said that crazy lie that he said, and he's out.
He's out. Is it sad that
the war zone? That was disappointing.
And that was the last guy like that.
TMZ is the most credible source. Like, how sad is that? Like, just garbage.
No, it's sad.
Honestly, like if something in pop culture happens, I'm like,
they know.
TMZ say it.
Well, let's move on to Colt's next topic. Gym habits that are annoying.
Drying your balls off in
your face.
Change room. With the community hair blower, old men drying their balls off has got to be seriously the most despicable thing I've seen in every gym I've ever been to.
No, I'll tell you, there was a gym up on in Henderson. It was Club Sport. It was over on Sunset. That's where your kids' private school got. School. I still wouldn't let my kids go in that locker room. Oh, God. That was the nakedest gym. Like old guys, just
balls
laid out,
just
paper open for like 4 hours at a time, celebrating the nudeness.
Literally, nobody wants to see it.
Nobody.
Men don't want to see it, but it happens in women's locker rooms too. Because I've tried to explain this to women. I'm like,
how do
you think you have it bad? Men's locker rooms are gross, and they'll be like, women do that too.
Oh God!
Shamelessly walk around. And it's never like the hard bodies. It's never the people that, with 4% body fat or, 12% on the women's side. It's never the people fighting for the IFBB pro title.
Is it?
It's the guy where you go,
yeah.
Do you look like that because you don't know you look like that?
You look in the mirror. Is it sad that doesn't even make my top 5 issues?
Men with the hair blower on the balls.
Puff give, Colt.
I don't know. Let me. Jeez, number 5, I would have to say.
I want to hear the Colt countdown on annoying gym things.
Number 5.
Number 5 would have to go the people that yell at the gym when they're working out.
That's just annoying.
So like annoying. A grunt or like or like, why are you on this machine?
Well-placed grunt's fine, but the guys that go ham are just obnoxious.
All right, so that's number 5.
Annoying.
So what's number 4?
Girls that work out in makeup. That's got to be bad for your face.
I don't think it bothers me though.
It doesn't bother me, but when you guys maybe in other places, but in Las Vegas, people show up in like fucking heels almost.
Yeah,
they work.
Yeah, you're on the Stairmaster in heels.
I think you're kind of talking about a group of people that really care about their appearance to begin with. So
no, right. Well, all right.
Number 3.
Number 3 would be people on their cell phones talking.
Yeah, that's awful. Like, there's this guy that goes around on YouTube and like chastises people on their phones. You ever seen that guy?
No.
It's really funny. He's like a dude bro guy, but he goes around and he'll be like blah 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 blah.
Oh, when they're talking on their phones.
Yeah, watch. It's really funny.
It's so annoying. It's like, get off your phone, go outside in the parking lot, do something. I don't want to listen to you talk to your wife, or there's nothing worse like people on business. Oh, yeah, well, just do this, acting like they're doing $1 million deals.
So what's number 2? Moving on to number 2. What's
number 2 is flirting at the gym, and it's so annoying because, look, when you're sitting there on a machine just talking to some girl flirting, I can't get on the machine.
Well, that's just inconsiderate. It's all hell.
And they sit there, and it's like, I told somebody the other day.
To be clear, you're not talking about people flirting with you.
No,
you're talking about people flirting with other people while you're trying to.
I'm trying to get on the machine.
So if it's you, it's fine.
It's fine. I'll take flirtation from anyone at this point. But I will sit there and, you know what? Be a fucking grown up.
Stink eye him the whole time.
Start drinking. Go to a bar. Be a man, and that's where you flirt with people.
Okay. Well, so what? So
do you ask them to move off the machine though?
I got to hear number 1.
Yes.
What's number 1?
Number 1 would be not knowing how to work out and doing 15 sets of the same chest exercise when there's only one machine.
Yeah, I get it. Or people that use the assisted dips for like step downs, even though it's like a knee padded cushion.
Yeah.
I never understood that one. I go, this is clearly a place for like knees, not your dirty shoes.
See,
I thought for sure number 1 was going to be that the weights are heavy. I thought for sure that was going to be your number 1,
especially in metric.
The gym is the most frustrating place. I guess I hated it when I was younger, but you didn't have really cell phones, so people just worked out. They might say hi or whatever, but nowadays I go in for an hour and 15 to knock out what people are still doing the same machine.
Yeah, but where are you going as a gym, honestly? Because I think there's a huge different culture between.
I don't think so.
This isn't I'm not besmirching any gyms in town, but there are some that are lower cost. Like if you take an LVAC or Anytime, like kind of the more general gyms.
Yeah.
No, the gyms where they're kind of
real quick. Stop for a second. I had a great thought.
Gym shaming.
All right, we've asked earlier for a heavy accented power move. I also, ladies, I need one of you guys to do this for me. Pull out your phone, send me a waveform. I need the sexiest version of that's a Scrabble word.
Oh yeah,
I need that on the board because
I'll take it.
Yeah, let's face it. Yeah, let's face it.
Sesquipedalious.
Fuck this.
Speaking in words that have a lot of syllables.
And mine is the F word.
I'll walk you through every single one.
God.
Sorry,
but yeah,
guys.
no, these gyms that are kind of more accessible or kind of neighborhood or whatever. If you go to like real powerlifting gyms, if you go to the places like
places you go, of course.
No, I mean like I do,
know,
but I go to trainer and so those places that it's a lot of people there have their bodybuilding cards or whatever. I've never seen people on their phones.
Oh, I agree.
And I think in the general, so at LVAC I did all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just kind of people more trying to come back, and their whole business model is that you're going to join our gym and pay us and never be here.
Never use it.
Like that's why those gyms are. Like,
See,
I think
this is exactly why I have a gym at my house and a trainer that comes to my house because I hate the gym.
Yeah, and
I hate
that's
the
your
process of
prerogative.
the gym.
Yeah.
That's why I look the way I do, because I won't go to the gym.
Although a lot of your other
be,
pet
like,
peeves
sexy.
happen at the gyms where people come in makeup, because there's like a lot of people that work industry in this town and they care about their appearance. They're not going to go out looking like a complete scrub.
Well, let me ask you this because all right, it's a good segue to our last topic here because a gym is a business and you get to select a business. So my question is, we have so much choice as it comes to when we're doing business. Are you more prone to do business with a company that part of their business model is some sort of charitable fashion that gives back and makes the world a better place than you are to someone else? What say you, Chris Connell?
To work with, I don't think I have that luxury because I'm an attorney and I believe that all people.
No, I'm saying in choice of businesses you choose to do business with.
If I could pick, if like all things being equal, yeah, absolutely. Like I'll even pay a little bit more if I know that there's something good about it or if it's it's locally owned or I will pay somebody a little bit more if there's something about it that has a local community effect. Right.
Well, this is something that I was exposed to by my buddy Cole Hatter years ago. Has a big convention called Thrive, Make Money Matter. Cole is kind of the guru of helping people create purpose-driven businesses. And what a purpose-driven business is, if you don't know, is having a charitable component built into your business, which means for every dollar I take in, $1 goes to do this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ones where they provide clean water here. Colt't actually, as part of his flipping business, supports an orphanage in Mexico with like 25 actual orphans that they take care of because they do business with them. And there's all these studies that people are more prone to do business with purpose-driven businesses, which is why it's so important. Sure. And I think having it built in, having that giving built into your business is important. It's something that we do here. I do it sporadically at times of the year with some of our companies, but like, for example, my personal real estate team, every single listing that we sell, we let actually the seller choose, but we have 4 charities that we deal with. This year, it's the Lou Ruvo Brain Center, it's Habitat for Humanity, it's 3 Square, which is a local food bank here in town.
All great.
And the last one is Wounded Warrior, is what it is.
Yeah, really great.
So when you see a for sale sign for the Gafford Group, my team, when you see a for sale sign out on a property, rather than those stupid writers that say like, honey, stop the car, I'm gorgeous inside, pool, some stupid writer, our signs actually state, they say, purpose-driven real estate, a portion of the commission from the sale of this house will go to help, and then the riders are the actual charities of the charities that go on.
That's great.
With links back to that. And we built that in, and it's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart to make that go. And we get to help great charities that we have links to. We do a lot of stuff with 3 Square, a lot of stuff with Habitat, a lot of stuff with all of those.
Yeah, those are all really great programs.
They're all near and dear to us. But it also, I've seen it changes the opinion of what people think about what we do.
Sure.
If you are someone that has a business out there that feels like you're not necessarily, you want to kind of change your imaging and you change what you do, I'm telling you, add a component to it that is a charitable giving and watch things change.
You want to know what the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life is when people say something like, oh, they're just giving that as a tax write-off, or oh, they're just giving the charity for this.
Who cares?
Or, who gives a flying?
It's still going to the right place.
Who gives a shit? I don't care if you give to charity because it makes you think you're a demon and it it fires up your demonic soul.
Yeah.
I don't care. You're giving it to it's getting there. It's at the end of the day. I don't care about intentions all the time. I do when it's I don't like being
internet
inauthentic entirely.
I hate this. This is the worst thing. grabbing your cell phone and be like,
watch me give
this guy $100 and try to change his life.
That's really,
right? That's the difference. You're degrading.
I'm just talking about why you mailed the check.
No, I get it.
I don't care why you mailed the check.
It gets there, and we do a lot. I don't care. With my business, I do the same thing.
Okay, well, like this, I'm gonna give you some props, bro. Here it comes. I don't know if you know he does this. We went one time. Colt't tells me, he goes, look, every weekend we go down and we feed the homeless downtown. That's what Colt't tells me. And in most cases, when you hear something like that, you think, okay, it's, go buy some, sack lunches and you hand them out. Yep. We went down to help with the Christmas. Dude, this is a giant production with a couple hundred people show up with tables, chairs, all those home cooked meals. And it's like it was amazing what you guys do for those folks downstairs.
Well, I think it
was amazing.
I think.
And you've never been on social media turning your camera on about it, ever, not one time.
I kind of wish you would.
Yeah, true.
No, but
I think there's something about it where
right?
if you tell people you're going to do it, and maybe I sit there and go, why am I not doing that?
The only time I turn on social media is if I need help. And people sit there, and John's perfect example. John came helping just like anything. He's like, well, don't put it on social media because I don't want to look like that guy's down here for that. He was there truly for helping people. The thing is, people don't realize you are blessed if you got a family to fall back on.
Sure.
Everybody thinks homeless people without houses are crackheads or they're just, bums that don't want to work, right? There is a lot of people that maybe had cancer, maybe lost a job, had the trifecta of just stuff happen that they couldn't go ask for $500.
Healthcare,
a lot of it is people that are maybe autistic or people that have a disability that their parents can't handle 2 or 3 more kids. So they're a single kid, and then they end up, parents passing away. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to.
Yeah,
I see a lot of that.
It's tragedy. Yeah.
But I think it makes you a real person. I think if somebody truly is tying their business to it, you see that they care about the community they're in. Sure. I think they care about just people. You're like, wait, I want to deal with somebody that actually gives a crap about somebody else.
Keep my money here. I don't need to see that guy with the loafers and no socks, going for his next haircut. Yeah. Whatever. You want to see somebody, community. That's why community events make a lot of sense. That's why a lot of these, realtors that go to communities and do these things. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's got a business purpose attached to it.
As long as it has a good end, who cares?
Yeah. It has a good end. People are getting what they need.
Yeah.
So on that, I think we're going to move along to the end. Guys, remember, thanks for listening. We do appreciate you guys tuning in. We will be back again, I promise. At some point in the future. Again, these episodes drop every Wednesday, every Friday. You can find them anywhere you can download a podcast anywhere you want. Obviously, we don't edit that too much because you just heard that disaster which just came out of my mouth. And if you like what we do, man, tell a friend. If you don't like it, tell 2. Because remember, it doesn't matter if they're talking good or bad. It's when they stop talking that you got a problem. We'll see you next time.
Colt't talking about